Compound inequalities. Solve and graph the following inequality. 3x plus 4 is less than 16, or 2x minus 5 is greater than 9. Okay, I want you to stop for a second and just try to think about how you would figure this out in your head. And remember, with OR type inequalities, create two separate inequalities. So take a look at the one on the left. 3x plus 4 is less than 16. You can create that into a separate inequality. And you can separate that into its own separate inequality, where 2x minus 5 is greater than 9. So let's take a look at the first one. And remember, what's our goal here? What's our target? And that is to isolate the variable. So let's identify the variable x. And to isolate the variable, we're going to use inverse operations. So for example, we will subtract 4 from one side of the equation and then subtract from the other side of the equation. Positive 4 and negative 4 will cancel each other out. And you're left with 3x is less than 12. And you're going to continue to use inverse operations. So for example, you're going to divide the left side by 3. And if you divide the left side by 3, you have to divide the right side by 3 as well. Three divided by 3 cancels out. And you're left with x is less than 4. So we've done the left side and we're halfway there. Now let's go to the second inequality. Identify the variable which you want to isolate. So we'll add 5 to both sides of the equation. Plus 5 and plus 5. Positive 5 and negative 5 cancel each other out. And you're left with 2x is greater than 14. And again, you want to use inverse operations. So we'll divide one side by 2. And then we have to divide the other side by 2. 2 and 2 cancel each other out. And eventually you're left with x is greater than 7. So from there, what do we have to do? We have to graph the inequality. So let me draw a number line. And just a heads up, here are some notes. Always use an open circle for greater than and less than inequalities. They look like this. And use closed circles for greater than or equal to or less than or equal to inequalities. And they look like that. So let's go back. We see x is less than 4. Always remember to read from the x. That's why it's read x is less than 4. And we're going to plot a 4 and use an open circle. And less than arrows go to the left. Let's take a look at the other. We have x is greater than 7. Again, read from the x. Now we'll plot the point. Now we'll plot the 7 on the number line. Also use an open circle. And x is greater than 7, so we're going to point the arrow towards the right. And you're finished.